Hey everybody, Northwood Yankee here. Born and raised in the North. I've decided to do my channel based on everyday things that I do, normal life for me. So give me some time. This is not a full-time job for me like it is for some people. I put my stuff up and make my recordings as time allows. Things I'll be doing and things you'll be seeing if it interests you is we're going to be swinging chainsaws, doing radio stuff, uh, jarring and canning, home repairs, welding, tractor work, vehicle repairs, running sawmills, and a wide variety of things. That's just what we do up here. So if these things interest you, check things out, follow me, and hit subscribe, hit that like button, drop comments. Feel free to ask questions. So with that, take it easy. Movies, myths, real life. In the last video, I just talked a little bit about time not being on your side when it comes to deadly force. You need to stack as many cards in your favor as possible. Because action beats reaction every time. Remember that. Action beats reaction every time. Not debatable. 21-foot rule. Even expecting it. Running drills. Somebody with a knife can close a distance of 21 feet and stick that knife into a person who has a gun before that person can get the gun out of the holster and shoot the person with a knife. Yep. Unless you are Speedy Gonzalez, 21 feet. So take that as you're not expecting somebody to attack you. And all of a sudden you realize there's a threat. And they're within inside 10 feet of you or 20 feet of you. And now you've got to deal with it. Now they're inside your house. Whatever. They're trying to carjack you. You've got to deal with it. And you've got to deal with it yesterday. Right now. It's not scripted, right? We're not planning it out. We're not rehearsing it. We're not doing special movie sound effects. We're not doing computer generated imaging and graphics. Nope. No cool sound. No pew 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 from a unsuppressed pistol. No pew 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 from a suppressed pistol because it doesn't really happen like that in real life either. So here we have a Glock 19 with night sights. It is clear. Okay. No ammo. Got two different magazines for it. They are both clear. We have two flashlights. Okay. That one turns on. That one turns on. And we've got our box of bullets. I hear that all the time. Box of bullets. Apparently they're not cartridges. It's not ammo. It's just the bullets. Now, night sights. Maybe you don't need night sights on every gun you have. But on anything you're going to trust your life to, you want night sights. Because, well, I mentioned a minute ago, you're not going to schedule your gunfight to happen during the daytime, right? How do you know it's not going to be at 2 in the morning when it's pitch black dark? It's going to happen at the worst time. So some guns you can get with night sights on them, already installed, or you might have to get somebody to install them for you if you don't have that skill set. If you do have that skill set, you're probably not watching this. So this one I installed myself. I spent a few years as a Glock armorer, so I know how to do everything to a Glock correctly. Have all the proper tools to do it, not using hammers to drive out the rear sights. I have the real tool to do it. So the reason we have the night sights is, sure, during the daytime you could use a fixed sight which is not illuminated, and you could look right down through there and get a sight picture. Okay, well, what happens in low light when it's dark? Well, got my handy dandy stick to turn off the light with. Got pretty dark, didn't it? The only illumination is just off the screen. Right by the side of my head, you see a little glow, right? I'll wiggle it a little bit. See it wiggling? And on the rear sights, you can see the dots. It's kind of hard to get a good camera angle of it. There we go, we're back. But these are Trijicon night sights. So they always glow in the dark. You don't have to turn the lights on to charge them up, nothing. They always glow. So it doesn't matter if I'm in pitch black, I can get a sight picture down through this thing. Alright, so clear gun. We're not going to do things like the movies, like TV shows. I've recently gotten hung up on this show called The Blacklist. I friggin' love it. It's awesome. Everybody's screwing everybody over. And, yeah. So, anyway, it shows TV FBI. And you'll see this on about any TV cop show. Or TV cop movies, whatever. They have to go clear a building. Or do whatever they gotta do. The first thing you get is they're carrying Glocks. Same as this. I'm not sure what model they're carrying. Doesn't matter. Glock is Glock. They unholster and they come up to go on target. They come up to a high ready. And you hear click, 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 click. There's nothing here that goes click. Okay? There is literally nothing that goes click. Okay? Nothing there. And hammer the crap out of this thing. It doesn't go click. But that's what you hear because it's sound effects that they put in there. Because it sounds cool when the actor comes up and goes click. It doesn't exist. It's not real life. That's the difference for you. Another thing they're doing is we're playing 1970s, 1980s. We're doing this crap. Okay. So we're going into a dark building or whatever, and we need to clear it, i.e. your house. If you're not in law enforcement or military, you're not going to be clearing buildings. You shouldn't be clearing buildings. It's very dangerous. You have a lot of places to get your ass killed in buildings. Fatal funnels, hallways, stairways, and doorways. But worst comes to worst, and you got to clear your house, there's your building. It could be dark. So they're running around with a gun in one hand and a flashlight in the other hand. I'm probably going to blind you. And this is what they're doing. Flashlight's always on. Blah, 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 blah. Well, we have a few problems here. Number one, the flashlight's always on. So, if you're a bad guy, what are you going to do when the cops are coming after you? Shoot at the light, you're probably going to hit somebody. So we don't want to have our lights on all the time when you're clearing your house because you're giving away your position. Another thing that's going on, you've got two hands jammed up here. Now these are actually in parallel right now. The light is right parallel with the gun. It doesn't look that way because of camera angles, but they are. So as you're clearing your house, let's say you advance to a doorway and somebody reaches through that doorway and does a side grab on your gun. Now what are you going to do? You're going to shoot them? What good's that going to do? You're shooting this way, they're over there. So you just shot 90 degrees the wrong way at nothing. Are you going to try and turn the gun around one hand and shoot them this way or that way? That's hard. Are you going to try and fight them with the hand with the flashlight, just be able to try and punch them like this? You've got two hands that are now tied up. So you've got a choice. You don't want to give up the gun, right? So you're going to lose the flashlight. So now your flashlight's gone, now you've got a gun and you're in the dark. Think about it. So how do we cure that? Weapon mounted light. They're not all that expensive. This is TLR-1HL made by Streamlight. Don't get knockoffs. Don't get counterfeits. Same thing with EOTechs. Optics, like rifles. Those are good products. So therefore they're counterfeited. Yeah, you can get something that looks just like them and think, oh, that's just as good, but oh, it's $200 cheaper, I'll get that. They're garbage. They won't hold their zeros, they're not nearly as rugged, and when you need it, it's probably not going to work right. Buy once, try once. You get what you pay for. Go with the good proven gear. So this runs on a set of CR123 batteries, the little short fat things, and not too hard to get. They last about forever. Get put that together here. You're going to switch on the back, up, down. Same thing for this side for left-handed and right-handed shooters. Inside of here, you've got a little key that you mount in depending on how you're trying to mount it. There's one made for Glock. There's one made for P320. There's one made for 1913 Picatinny rails. And I think there's another one too. And you'll put that special key in, and that's what's going to mate up to whatever your mounting platform is, which is this little notch right here and this rail. So this one has the Glock key in it. So it mounts on there pretty easily. Little thumb screw. Tighten her down. Now this is not going to work in a holster that is not designed for not having a weapon mounted light. You're going to need a holster that is designed to have a light on it. So that's what we look like. Now right-handed, you've got control. You can turn it on momentarily and release it, or you can flip it down and leave it on continuous. You can turn it this way and do the same thing. It's just the opposite of what the right was. So up is continuous and down is momentary. And then you could strobe it. I hate the strobe, but that's the way this one came. So when you're clearing, we're not running around and keeping this thing on all the time. Not giving ourselves away. Turn it on, check, move. Every time you turn that light on, move, move, move. Always be moving. So now if you're going through the dark, you've still got a free hand if you need it. You need to do a magazine change. It's kind of hard to do that magazine change without putting this flashlight down, right? Now you can try and stick it up in here, get your magazine, and you drop your freaking flashlight. Just don't do that. You got that good hand. And if somebody happens to come around the corner on you and grabs a hold of that gun, you've still got a hand to fight with. You've got a fist for punching. You've got a hand for grabbing. You can do something. You're not going to lose your flashlight. So think about that too. Magazines. The Glock 19, the standard magazine is 15 rounds, which is this one. So you can put 15, one in the pipe, get a total of 16. This is a Magpul magazine, it's not the actual Glock one. So that's how it flushes up. For reloading, you're going to get, if you buy one of these new or used at a store and everything's intact, you should get 3 magazines. And they're all going to be the 15s. That's good. But to expand, you can go with 17s. This is made for a Glock 17. Sticks out further, but it gives you 2 extra rounds in your magazine on a reload. Be kind of weird and awkward carrying that. Trying to do a concealed carry, but hey, for something to shove in your pocket for a reload, take all the ammo you can get, right? You can also go to a 45 round stick. The magazine's about that long. It's going to stick out, look like sin, but hey, when you're in a gunfight and you can jump out of your car or whatever, have another 45 round magazine to throw in your back pocket, why not? So the cool thing with Glock is, as long as you stay in the same caliber family, so like this being 9mm, the Glock 26, the magazine well is about this long. Then the Glock 19 is this long, and the 17 is just a little bit longer. With the magazine wells, everything here is all the same angles, okay? So any magazine will go into any gun as long as you're not trying to shove a shorter magazine into a larger magazine well. So we'll just stick with 9mm for example, because that's what I have. So the little short Glock 26 magazine, it's small. It's not going to fit in here. But like I just showed, because we're the same caliber, all of this is the same. If you had that little Glock 26, you could run either one of these magazines or like that 45 round stick in it. It's going to stick out, but it's going to work. Same goes with their 45s, same goes with their 40s, etc., etc. Not all gun manufacturers are going to be like that, I don't believe. So that's another consideration. That's very handy, especially if you're carrying a small subcompact that only holds whatever, like the Glock 27 40 caliber holds, what is it, like 7 or 8 rounds? It's not much. So if you can get a Glock 22 magazine that holds whatever 15 rounds to carry that for a reload, hey, you're up in the game. Instead of carrying a bunch of little itty bitty baby magazines. That's good to get started with. So take every advantage you can to put yourself ahead and be smart. Don't buy junk. Don't buy crap. Buy guns. Buy equipment that works for you. Don't get something just because somebody else says it's what you need to have. I'm not going to tell you to buy a Glock because I like Glocks and you need to have one. It might not fit for you. I'm not going to tell you you need to have a 45 caliber because I can handle a 45 caliber. It might not work for you. I'm not going to tell you you need to go buy a Sig Sauer P229 or P226 because, oh, that's what I shoot and that's the only gun there is on God's green earth and there is nothing better. Or you get the 1911 crowd that says the same thing in some cases. There's no other gun on this planet other than the 1911, and that's what everybody should have. No, there is not one gun out there for everybody. And anybody who tells you there is a fool. Don't believe them. You need to find what works for you. It needs to be comfortable for you. You need to feel good on your grip. Everything here needs to be comfortable. Getting your finger onto the trigger needs to feel comfortable. Releasing your magazine needs to feel comfortable. Not, I can't get that. I know guys got an H&K. Nice gun, real nice gun. Just bought it brand new. But the way the magazine release is set up on that, I freaking hate it. My thumb just ain't long enough to reach up and grab the friggin' thing. So I gotta use two hands to drop it. No good. HK's a nice gun. You know what? It works great for him. Not for me. Different calibers, different, types of ammunition are gonna work different ways. So that's another thing you need to find out. What's a good caliber for you? Somebody who's a bigger person like me can handle the larger calibers in a handgun. Smaller people, not so much because the recoil is too much for them. So they're going to be better off with something like a 9mm. I'd say it, maybe a 380. 40s, they got some recoil to them. So if you got a friend, family member who's got some different types of guns with some different calibers, and you can get them to take you out so you can try some, that's what you need to do. And find something that's comfortable for you because that's what you need. You need to be comfortable with whatever you're trusting your life to. The box of bullets. Obviously, when it comes to guns, everybody gets all in a tizzy about it in some states. So, in countries. So you need to make sure you stay legal wherever you're at. I'm basing this on my state. So don't, if you could have loaded guns in your house, locked, cocked, ready to rock, why would you not want to? This isn't DC where I live, where, you pretty much just gotta cater to the criminal who comes through your door and, beg and plead them because they're the boss. So you get your bullets, get your mags, got your gun. Obviously, if you got kids in the house, you need to keep it secure so that they can't get their hands on it. Obvious. If you don't have kids in the house, it's a hell of a lot easier. So with time not being on your side, not being able to schedule when somebody's coming through your door, through your window, how long do you think it could take, because you want to be safe, To get your gun out, have a dead sleep. 2 in the morning, all of a sudden you realize there's somebody in your house. So you're going to find your gun wherever you stashed it, get your gun lock off it if you got it locked up. After you found your key to do that, then you're going to find your empty magazine, which might be right with it. Then you're going to get your bullet box open. I'm not going to do this right now because this is live ammo. Then you're going to get your bullets out of your box, try and get them in your magazine. This is still clear. Then you're going to get it in your gun. Then you got to rack your gun before you can take care of the problem. How long is that going to take? 2 minutes? That's a long time when you're staring at death in the face. As I've previously mentioned in the last video about time not being on your side, I had 2 seconds, max. The clock was ticking and the video shows it was less than 2 seconds. So can you do all that in less than 2 seconds? I don't think so. If your magazine is loaded, at least you're one step closer, so all you have to do is insert it and rack it. But then you need to make sure you don't short stroke it, because if you somehow happen to short stroke, so here's your full stroke right here, right? But let's say in a hurry, you only get it back to about there, not the full stroke. You get it back to there and let it go. It's not going to happen. Not going to work. So think about it. Think about time is of the essence and how you're going to keep your life defender, your home defender, how you're going to store that so that when all of a sudden it is on, it is ready to roll. You don't keep your fire extinguishers empty, right? I hope everybody has a fire extinguisher in the house. Probably a good idea. So if you think you need a fire extinguisher in your kitchen in case you get a fire there, you're probably not going to keep it at your neighbor's house. So when your fire breaks out, you go to your neighbor's house and find out they're not home. No, you're going to keep it close by and ready to go, right? And if you have to use it, then you're going to replace it with a charged one that's ready to roll for next time. Think of these as the same thing. They need to be ready. So I'm going to cut this one off because it's getting long, and then we're going to get into carrying on empty chambers.